If you've been developing software on a team for a while, you might get to the point quickly where you're thinking, how can I get promoted to a more senior role? Well, today we're going to talk about why, depending on the company you work at, it can seem very confusing. How do I actually become a more senior software developer, UX engineer, or operations person right now? Hi, I'm Jamie, and at Healthy Software Developer, I want to help you stay calm, keep growing, and have a good balance between your career and your life. If you're at the position in your job where you're starting to wonder, how can I get promoted? How can I actually get recognized for what I'm doing so that the company gives me additional rewards or money or opportunities? I find there's a lot of really good articles out there on the internet, but they kind of miss the point. You might hear things like contribute to an open source project or get better at testing or a variety of technical things that'll help you get promoted. But today I want to give you some really practical tips that I think will really help you become the person that you need to be so that no matter what company you're working at and what technology stack they're working with, you can really get recognized as more than just a junior developer or engineer. Hey, if you're new to my channel, consider subscribing. I publish new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. The first thing that really will set you apart from your other colleagues as someone who should be promoted from maybe a more junior position, or maybe you're already a senior engineer of some sort and you want to become an architect or a director or lead more, is to help other people succeed. This is an unpopular one, especially amongst software developers. And I know earlier in my own career, I focused a lot on being able to show everybody else how good I was at writing code, how intelligent I was about whatever our stack of choice was. But you often will run into a situation on your projects very quickly where you can't really achieve the goals that are going to make you look good enough to be considered for promotion unless you get other people to work well with you too. If you haven't dove deep into them already, go check out my videos in the soft skills playlist on my channel. There's a whole bunch of videos in there with a lot of practical information for you that will help you help others more. And if you really want to get recognized and get promoted to a more senior position, this is one that is not easy for many of us. We spend a long time sitting on the computer, cranking out code. It's a really difficult job just to understand from a technical standpoint what we're trying to do. But having that ability to sit down with other people and work closely with them and help ensure their success is actually one of the things that will make your employer notice you and notice also that you might be somebody who they might want to give a chance to get recognized and actually eventually lead other teams. The second thing that I would recommend that will really help you stand out is learning to admit when you don't know something. Now, this is a little counterintuitive. When we come out of college, we get measured based on how well we do on tests. We're grilled on a lot of really highly technical information. And when we're new to the software development industry, we're so overwhelmed with the technical side that we're just trying to sort of prove to our colleagues that we even know what we're talking about. But as we grow in our career and we need to start working closer with business people and customers and people that aren't as technical, the ability to just say, I don't know something and be honest about it is really important. Not only is this going to keep you out of trouble because you're not going to commit to things and say you understand things that you don't, but it's going to actually make you stand out by being more humble. And many software engineers like to compete with each other, and I think competition's a good thing to press us to grow in our technical skills. But when it comes to working with other people, which is really what most tech companies are all about as you progress in your career, being able to just say, I don't know, but I'll find out is a really important skill that if you learn to master this, and it can feel uncomfortable if you're not used to it, other people will really respect you and they'll come to you. I know I really experienced this myself when I got into consulting, and ask you things that they may not trust other people to be straight with them about because you've proven yourself and you've actually shown them, I'm willing to tell you when I really do know something and when I don't. The third thing you can do that will really help you stand out and probably have a higher chance of getting promoted is to take on additional responsibilities. Sitting at the computer all day, getting really good at one particular aspect of our tech stack, or if we're in UX, maybe our design tools, or if we're in ops, maybe something about the infrastructure automation tools or the delivery pipeline tools. We can become very competent in one area and we enjoy it because we've built some level of competence with it. And sometimes it can be hard for us to get back into that mindset to allow ourselves to grow and become a newbie again. And I think the best senior engineers that I've worked with and the junior engineers that I think I and others at many companies I've worked at look at and think, this person is ready to be promoted, this person's ready to grow, are often the people who are most willing to jump right back into that mindset of, I don't know, I want to learn this, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to try to learn something new. So if you're willing to sit with people who might know more than you and be comfortable with being looked at as a newbie and having to learn from somebody else, even though you may have been doing your job for a while, you may have been on the same project and gotten really good at it, that's the mindset you're going to need. That's what you're going to need to demonstrate to other people around you if they're going to consider you for promotion. The fourth thing you can do that will put you in a better position to be considered for promotion, and this is somewhat of a no-brainer, but it's really important, is to really deliver on your promises. Being able to commit to something and actually show everyone around you you can be trusted that you will get done what you commit to is extremely important. An aspect of this that's equally important is to not commit to things that you're not sure about. And I've talked about in many other videos how you can learn to say no to people with grace. So it's not like you're telling them you won't help them, but you're helping them understand that you actually need more information, or you might have to do something else before you can commit to it. But being honest with others about what you can and can't do, and also learning to just say no to someone if your plate's full, are really important skills that'll help you set yourself apart from people that are more junior and be considered to be recognized as a senior developer or a director or a senior engineer of some sort. I know for me, it probably took until about 5 years into my career before I got to the point where I felt more comfortable just telling people, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Because I looked at it like I was so new to the industry, I wanted to really keep my job, I wanted people to look at me as somebody that they liked working with, that often I would take things on that I really wasn't capable of delivering, not because I necessarily couldn't figure it out, but just simply because I didn't have the time. The fifth thing you can do that'll really help you get recognized for a more senior position is to focus more of the work that you do on business value and not just technical outcomes. What I mean by this is, as a software developer, we have to deal with a lot of technical things. You know, we have to write code, we have to do testing, we may have to configure servers or development environments, and we can do a lot of work, and all of the engineering team understands that, but what we're actually producing for the business isn't really doing a lot for their customers. So one of the things that will really help you stand out from more junior developers or junior engineers is to have more of an appetite to understand the business of the software company you're working for. You know, even if it isn't a software company, you're working on some sort of technology product. And I find if you have an understanding of what the customers actually need to do and what their problems are, you're going to be better in touch with what work you need to do when you write code that's going to be more visible to your manager and the rest of the business, and that's going to get you recognized much quicker. I talked about in my video about how a product manager can really be a developer's biggest ally, how if you ask your product manager to actually meet with customers or go with your product manager when they're interviewing them or going to trade shows, this is going to build the empathy for you that you're going to actually understand a lot more about what your customers' pain points are. And that's going to help you do the work that's most valuable to your business so that you can actually get recognized and get promoted. The sixth thing that you can do to improve the chances that you'll be promoted to a more senior role at your company is to really improve your communication skills. Now, this is one that most software engineers or techies, myself included, aren't really good at out the gates. You know, there are always exceptions to the rule, but I remember in college I took communications classes. They didn't really prepare me for this. And just like I talked about at the beginning of the video, when you're in college and you're kind of around a whole bunch of different people that are all taking the same classes as you, and you have a professor maybe that's talking about a particular programming topic or a particular system design topic, everybody in that class all knows the same acronyms, the same information, and so you can deep dive with those people and it's expected of you. But when you join a software team, and you know this, we all interact with non-technical people or just people who are at varying levels of technical skill all the time. So being able to take a really complex topic, something that you're really comfortable talking with your coworkers about that do understand the technology, and figure out, how do I simplify this? How do I put this in words that I can explain to a boss or a manager that has no idea maybe even how to code or how programming works, is a really valuable skill. You're going to need this especially if you ever want to get promoted into a leadership role. And the seventh and final thing that I think is really going to help you if you're trying to figure out, how do I get promoted, is to take more responsibility for your own actions. This is one none of us like to do, but you know, when we get onto a software team, it's really common that we run into frustration with other people. We wish maybe the product manager was changing the product less frequently. We wish maybe that our other coworkers did a better job coding in the ways that we'd like them to. But ultimately, we can only control ourselves. And so being able to separate what other people are doing from being something that we blame and that we let control our own self-worth and our own ability to progress in our career is what you're ultimately going to need. Because if you're going to lead a team or you're going to become a more senior engineer, the only way somebody's going to give you an opportunity to do that is if you find ways to work with people that are being difficult or maybe aren't working up to your standards, and you're able to find a way to get them to work well with you and bring them around to your cause without blaming them. So if you cracked the code, so to speak, on how to become a senior engineer, leave me some comments below on what you did to get recognized for your last promotion. If you're new to my YouTube channel, consider subscribing. I'm also on 4 podcast platforms if you'd rather listen to this as a podcast: Google Play, Stitcher, SoundCloud, or iTunes. So until next time, thanks.